Hey everyone, Tony Vlahos here, Chief Marketing Officer of ExecuNet, and I have the distinct pleasure of speaking today with Kip Tindell.
Hey, Tony.
Welcome, nice to
How
talk
are
to you.
you?
And of course, Kip is the Chairman and CEO of the Container Store, and I'm going to add to the equation, author, which is amazing. And he tells me the book actually began going on sale today.
Today's first day?
The book is Uncontainable, which is awesome. We'll talk a bit about that as well. Did you know when you started the Container Store that it would be such a huge success?
Oh, I don't think you ever. It's been such a fairy tale. I mean, we started with a whopping $35,000 in one tiny little 1,600 square foot store. So, no, I don't think you ever think it's going to do all of this. But we were fortunate in that, I mean, we spent 2 years developing the concept, developing the resources without pay, and by the end of the first week, the store was so busy that we were considering having to give out numbers like Baskin and Robbins ice cream did years ago. I mean, you know, and so we missed that whole entrepreneurial terror. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it?
Right.
You know, it was busy. I think people just thought it was the oddest collection of merchandise they'd ever seen. Everything we sold had never been sold in retail before. It was commercial, industrial products that saved you time and saved you space. More important than space, saving you time. And I think people just thought it was the oddest collection of merchandise they'd ever seen. So the word of mouth, I mean, we were crudely thinking that we knew how to advertise and market. We were doing that, but it was just word of mouth that got it going quickly.
So,
very thrilling. We had Stanley Marcus and the president of Rubbermaid and all these illustrious people come in and go crazy over the store, saying Stanley Marcus particularly fell in love with us and the store, and he was so generous with his time and praise, and that really helps for a young entrepreneur. It really taught me to give the gift of my time, and I don't know about my advice, but my time to young entrepreneurs, because it helps so much to know. You know, I grew up in Dallas, so you know Stanley Marcus, the Neiman Marcus guy, that he was a big hero. So that was interesting, and we were doing well and confident, and then just kept sort of systematically growing. In fact, if you look at our compounded annual growth rate since inception, we've still grown at about 23% a year for 35 years. Or that's the average. It's not 23% right now, but I mean it's bigger when you're smaller, but it's still, we're doing square footage growth right now of a little over 12% per year, which is still very rapid in retail today.
It really is awesome. So can you share some, shall we say, out-of-the-box thinking that got people into containers? What was the sort of the innovation from your standpoint that made all the difference?
Well, I know my dad and his friends, who were not, very distinctly not our target customers, were scared to death that we were selling empty boxes, and he couldn't imagine that we were going to devote ourselves to that. But function, clean, simple lines, saving space. But even back in 1978, somehow we knew that in order to get everything that you want to get done in a day, you have to be reasonably well organized. And so I really feel like we're selling the gift of organization, giving people back time. I don't think we knew that we'd all be as time-starved and multitasking as we are today. It was simpler back then, but there was still value to that. People were interested in saving space and time in business, but no one had ever done it, for the consumer before. And then when you're lucky enough to start a business, you can kind of adopt your life philosophies to the culture of that business. So our company is sort of run by these 7 foundation principles, which are all kind of golden rule-ish. Nobody ever disagrees with them. And conscious capitalism. I'm very dedicated to the whole concept of conscious capitalism, where you sort of simultaneously cause everyone associated with your business to thrive. You don't just myopically focus on the shareholder, because if you take better care of the employee, and we're very much an employee-first organization, if you take better care of her than anybody else, she really will take better care of the customer than anybody else, and if those two are thrilled, your shareholder's got to be thrilled too. And we do the same thing with the vendors and the communities, and then you have this organization. Our hope and dream is that at the Container Store, we're building a business where everyone associated with it thrives, and I think that's the most honorable thing you can do with. I mean, in retail, you got to work 80 hours a week. It's retail, So, what better way to spend 80 hours a week than trying to make everyone associated with the business thrive? It's thrilling. It makes everybody, employees, so motivated. The vendors want to see you win. we joke that the universe kind of conspires to assist you when you behave in that way, and we think even our bankers and lawyers are conspiring to assist us, is what we say.
So would you say that is essentially, quote, the secret to cultural happiness and alignment, so that everyone is rallying around the gift you're actually giving consumers, which is more time?
Yeah, and doing it in a conscious capitalist way. And Andrew Carnegie said on his deathbed, "Fill the other guy's basket to the brim. Making money then becomes an easy proposition." You're not giving money away. You're choosing through relationship building to figure out ways to synergistically have win-win relationships, and that allows the little container store to duke it out, to fight it out with the mass merchants. We can't beat the biggest retailers in the country on volume, but we can beat them on having a much better relationship with that manufacturer, and long-term great relationships where we can create product together that's exclusive to the container store and is a better value to the customer than is anywhere else. And then you form that trust and that bond with that manufacturer that can't be beat. I mean, it just gives you a competitive advantage. Culture is the strategy, you know. I mean, great people, great employees are the most important thing that we do. Treating your vendors, and for that matter, the UPS guy, the same way you treat those wonderful employees gives you an unassailable business advantage, because everybody does really want to see you win. And it's easier to be successful in business if everybody's conspiring to assist you than it is if they're all laying awake at night trying to figure out how to get back at you.
Sure.
That's what I think. It's pretty simple.
That's great. So let's talk briefly, Kip, about the book, Uncontainable. What lessons will a CEO of a company in a totally different industry pick up when they read this book?
Well, it's really about the foundation principles, the business philosophy of the container store, conscious capitalism. There's some historical narrative of the company, and I think that's interesting. But Herb Kelleher, the Southwest Airlines guy, who's, I'm proud to say, a good friend, 30 years ago he was saying things like, "You can build a much better organization on love than you can fear," because people came back from World War II and they were trying to build businesses based on military and that kind of top-down command thing. That doesn't work. It's the great leaders of today, the people that are really doing the best and dominate their niches, are something much closer to a kind of a servant leadership of thing. Conscious capitalism, our foundation principles, and very practically in a way that I think is we hope helpful to other entrepreneurs. Uncontainable goes into how we have done that. And one of the most satisfying things of my life is that I have people several times a week now say, "Kip, I have this little mattress company in Atlanta, and we have 2 stores, and I've modeled the whole culture of the company around your foundation principles." And it's like, oh my God, it's just unbelievable. But that is doing a little something, for the world. The great thing about operating a business that way is not only more fun and better for the work, it works better too. Raj Sisodia, who co-wrote the book Conscious Capitalism with John Mackey, my old college roommate at University of Texas, ironically enough, has studied all of the companies that he thinks represent conscious capitalism best in the country. Google and Southwest Airlines and Whole Foods, and if you track them over a 15-year period, they outperform the S&P index 14 to 1. I mean, that's not 20 or 30% more. It's 14 times as much. So I think operating a business this way is beginning to speak for itself. So many of the companies that dominate their niches have Jim Sinegal of Costco. I mean, people that advocate as vigorously as John Mackey of Whole Foods and I do that this is the way to run a business. And if you don't care about fun and you don't care about other people, you just want to make as much money as humanly possible, as rapidly as possible, this is the way to do that too. But isn't it nice that it all goes together?
Totally.
Because business is about synergy and trust, and people want to do business with people that they trust, and nothing's better in life than team and synergy done that way, so you get a win-win situation between a vendor and a retailer.
Awesome.
So
Kip, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And good luck
Thanks.
with the book as well.